Yes, it is true. I got a haircut. Thank you for welcoming me onto your screens or onto your headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie, and this is The Rollback. Folks, I'm here to talk to you today about the Marvels, aka harmless fun? Fuck it, I guess that works.
The Marvels, rated PG-13.
So The Marvels, starring Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. We have Teyonah Parris playing Monica Rambeau, aka Photon, as we find out later on. Iman Vellani playing Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. And lastly, we have Miss Zoe Ashton playing Dar-Benn, or I guess like an evil version of, not Kang the Conqueror, but the dude from the first, he's a Kree. The dude from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Anyway, all that said, point being, yeah, pretty much kind of like an evil version of him. She has a hammer. Anyway, this film comes hot off the heels of a Marvel, I want to say losing streak, if that's the right word to say. Quantumanium didn't set any box office records. I'd argue Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness wasn't the best it could have been. It feels like Marvel's been in a bit of a tailspin as of late. Not that we don't have things to look forward to. We clearly have, the X-Men are coming. We have Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars. No, not Secret Wars. Also, Secret Invasion kind of blew the fat one, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, this movie has Samuel L. Jackson for a cup of coffee. So that said, this film, I think, can mostly be summarized as harmless fun with some good ideas. Point being is that I'm not going to say it's a full-on reset, but the movie has some long-term effects, which is the good thing about it, but also it doesn't feel like it changes the status quo. Part of the good news is that the universe is not in danger, just a few planets, which is still kind of like stakes that may be too hard to grasp. Like, they're still over the top. Like, no one's expecting at this point that this bad guy is going to, destroy the universe. But if she said, hey, I'm conquering this one particular planet, okay, we have some reasonable stakes. This planet is on the line. We also have Captain Marvel kind of atoning for her sins. Apparently, when she destroyed the Kree Empire, the Supreme Intelligence, Civil War broke out, decimating its planet. This person, Miss Dar-Benn, the leader, I guess, of the winning faction, is trying to reassemble her planet piece by piece. From 1, the atmosphere, 2, the water and natural resources, 3, the sun. They get the first one down, expelling a bunch of Skrull refugees. And again, it's weird because this movie, if anything, its best feature is the fact that it's harmless, maybe? Like, I saw it in a mostly empty IMAX theater. Granted, it was late on Sunday, but nonetheless, IMAX theaters aren't typically empty. I remember watching Oppenheimer in IMAX at 10 o'clock at night. The damn thing was packed, and I mean packed. So for this film, the fact that I could sit wherever I wanted, no one's going to say anything, I mean, that's a damning indictment, I guess. Brie Larson definitely does a better job in this film than she did in the original Captain Marvel. The original Captain Marvel, which I will stand on this hill, was very inconsistent. Not Brie Larson's fault. I blame the production company. I blame Disney for the not tonally always consistent Captain Marvel. The Marvels, on the other hand, a little more fun, more funny. Brie Larson gets the chance to be her goofy, kind of straight man / silly self. There's a point where I'd say for me, they jumped the shark, where they land on a planet where they have to sing, but conveniently the prince is bilingual and can talk instead of only having to sing. Fair enough. A few good action sequences, a really intriguing character dynamic, not necessarily a character mechanic, I guess would be the right word, where the characters keep having to switch in and out with their light powers, which, again, that's interesting. The first fight scene is very chaotic. I like it. Training montage where they kind of learn, but they're still not completely on it. And then the third fight where it's just pretty much, fuck it, hit her with everything, let's see if we can win. Which, this bad guy manages to hold her own, but I never feel like she has a chance when it's 3-on-1. Perhaps if they had built her up a little more, and she could have, beaten down Captain Marvel at one point, maybe matching her in strength or zapping her power, neutralizing the Superman effect, maybe it could have been better, but I'll stand corrected. A lot of people seemingly enjoyed the film. It was mixed reviews, not mixed negative, but mixed reviews overall. Some people enjoying the fun banter, some people not loving the inconsistent story, which again, I can understand. There's some great conflict in this film that should be between Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, and Monica Rambeau, being technically they're the same age, but really Captain Marvel is Monica's mother's best friend, kind of anti-Carol, I guess, technically. And that whole idea of you abandoned me, but Captain Marvel never bothered, like, she just feels bad rather than like saying straight out, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, but I need you to understand something. She could be mean and say, like, look at it through your big girl eyes, but she doesn't have to be mean. The universe needed me, okay? And I feel guilty about it every day, but I'm not going to apologize for saving literal planets and hurting your feelings. I'm sorry, but I'm not. That could have been a fun adult conversation to have there. Maybe Monica, like, understanding or forgiving her, that could have been. But instead, it feels like cheap because they forgive each other right before Monica Rambeau is gonna, well, they think die. They end up causing an incursion, which they don't call an incursion for some reason, where an alternate reality is about to smash into ours because fucking powers, of course they are. Seemingly, we're getting more artifacts, more things to replace the Infinity Stones rather than one singular bad guy who's powerful. We're getting almost individuals that encapsulate Infinity Stones themselves. Kamala Harris clearly being one of them. Which shout, and her actress, she was fun. She was a really dorky kid, very cringy, but I never found her annoying, and that's a very, very, very fucking fine line to walk. But she did, and she did it very well. My hat's off to you, young lady. The ending of this film, spoiler alert, I guess in 3-2, Monica Rambeau, there's like, the Marvels go their separate ways. Captain Marvel seemingly is going to be staying here on Earth, you know, attempting to reestablish life here, maybe train. Kamala Harris will be starting the Young Avengers, although I'm not sure if that's going to be a TV show or a film, with Kate Bishop, and they have a few other people, you know, lined up. On the other side of the coin, we have Monica Rambeau, ending up in an alternative dimension where her mother is the Captain Marvel there. And we see the very first appearance in the MCU of an X-Men in Hank McCoy, which I wonder if they did that because they wanted to try and make sure, like, okay, we're going to get people to come and watch this film. Because, unfortunately, this film had the record lowest debut for an MCU film at only $110 million. Only $110 million. I don't know what the future of the Marvels hold. I genuinely believe that the main issue here is not necessarily the Marvels. The Marvels are not the film that's going to collapse the MCU. What's going to collapse the MCU is this consistency of Marvel product that's being put out to prop up Disney+. Issue being is the fact that the market is oversaturated. It used to be that Marvel films were a special event. Now, like, literally every fucking week there's a new show. Loki just ended, and I ain't seeing shit about it on my timeline, with all due respect. You know, the novelty of the Marvel TV shows has very deeply worn off. Echo is coming, and again, I heard jack shit about it. Secret Invasion was a bust, to say the least. I genuinely think they need to pump the hate brakes. They need to stop with all the MCU TV shows. Pull back on it, maybe do 2 shows a year at most, maybe 6 episodes per, and then do like 3 films a year, and that's it. Cap it there, because Marvel is oversaturated the market by themselves, let alone a competitor like DC putting out 4 DC films in 1 year. We still have the last one to go, but nonetheless, things are not looking good for the superhero genre in general. Not that it's all collapsing. I don't believe the superhero genre is going to die, but simply the market is oversaturated, and maybe if Marvel could pull back, and DC, if you could step it the fuck up, I'd appreciate it. I'm sorry, I went on a ramble. That said, The Marvels is harmless fun. It's a B. I don't feel comfortable giving it a B+, but giving it a B- feels like an insult. It's a fine movie. It is harmless, to say the least. The cats were kind of cute, I guess. But yeah, what did you think of The Marvels? Go ahead and let me know down below. We'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, catch y'all later. See you, everyone.